So, we're going to wait and see if some people get in here, but we're going to be talking about Campaign 4, Episode 3. Had some crazy stuff happen. If anybody does join right away, please say something. I guess, can I type? Top message notice, do live chat. All right. Yeah, what a wild episode. Just so much happened, and we finally got our group split, which was pretty insane. If anybody's in the chat, since I'm live out on a literal pier out in the water, let me know you're here. I want to make sure that my audio is working and people can hear me and see me and all that sort of stuff. I wanted to spend some time outside, and I have a lot of content to get out today. So rather than immediately go home from the gym and like start cranking, I was like, oh, I can do a little thing discussing things out here, get some sunlight, get some fresh air. So if anybody's tuning in, please let me know you can hear me and all that stuff, because I want to make sure that I'm not, I don't know. But holy crap, this has been, things have heated up very quickly, very, very quickly when it comes to Campaign 4. Episode 1 was a little slow, but setting the stage, all that sort of stuff. We were getting introduced to people, and then it was like boom, boom, boom. And now we are really rolling. We got our first table set, the soldiers, which is cool. So a lot of things happening with that. Thank you guys for the likes. I don't know, again, I don't see anything in the chat. So if anybody said anything, I don't see it. I do hope that I'm not missing anything. But thank you guys for the 3 likes. If you can, if anybody is able to type, please type so I know that it's working. But yeah, holy cow, episode 3. I don't want to, again, if you're tuning into this, spoilers. Like, if you're seeing this, there are going to be spoilers. The brutal death of Julian's dad was insane. Dima, thank you for saying hi. Okay, I know chat's working. Fantastic. That was just so grotesque and brutal and cool. Like, that was so cool. I'm a little disappointed. The chat seems to go away. Hello, Mother. The chat seems to go away very quickly on here. But yeah, so I'm just testing this out. I wanted to spend a little time outside, so I decided to go live and kind of talk about it. If anybody's here watched episode, what's up, Black Country? Episode 3 last night. Please tell me your like. Give me a couple of words just to your thoughts on episode 3 of Campaign 4. Very curious what you guys are thinking and feeling after that last night. I have a lot of stuff to make from that. I have several ideas. Brendan loves a gory death. Clearly, that was just that was insane. Like, one, partially maybe breaking like the rules of the game, unless that person is just that freaking powerful, because he essentially just one-shot this guy in a way that just, I get it, it's narrative, it's whatever, which I'm fine with, but like mechanically, I don't think that could have happened, right? Unless Julian's dad, like the leader of this house who's clearly a warrior, is also very weak, or the thing that killed him is insanely strong, like insanely, like incredibly overpowered. Which it seems Primus, the head of the Tacona's house, is definitely one of those, because he was just like, boom, I'm not even showing you how I'm doing this, and you're getting a curse placed upon you, in terms of Murray or whatever. But then it seemed like it wasn't coming from him, and that it was actually the other guy. No, there's some question marks there. But yeah, first thoughts, guys. Anybody who watched episode 3 last night, your takeaways. What are your first thoughts on that? Very curious. I don't know how long I'll be live out here. This was I just kind of wanted to do it, try it out, get some thoughts, get some people in here chatting a little bit, and then we will have videos coming today, talking about it. So great drama in the beginning. 100%, Kurt. 100%. They're setting the stage well. I don't know if you guys saw the cooldown. The soldiers are not going to be there next week. They get the next week off, so we will be missing those 5 players. Which I think will mean that we're going to be swapping between groups less. Also, we learned, I think, some of the structure. We will then get the soldiers for a story arc. So I think we'll follow for story arcs. Like, it's not going to be 1 week is this group, the next week is this group, the next week is this group sort of thing. The way I understood what Brennan said is that basically we're going to get the soldiers or a different group, and I think he was saying the soldiers, for a full story arc, and then it'll swap and somebody else will get a story arc and somebody else will get like that sort of thing, which is, you know, I know a lot of people are curious how they were going to end up doing these sort of 3 tables. Would it be that sort of swap or what? Oh, I agree. I have that in my notes. That Cadigan's whole thing about the North was very ominous, very well done, very cool, and foreshadowing very well. Dang it, I missed. How do I get the comment? Oh, there we go. I'm going the plot line that there may be the reborn god and some of the batter stuff. Maybe. I'm also very, I don't know if it's like the city being attacked with Taconis or what, because they said like what Ashley saw were like hundreds of like specters just on the other side of the veil right there at the Davos like place. Like that was very like, wait, what? What do you mean? And then of course the dude was with the stone. Now we know Taconis has the stone. And it's right inside, and apparently they think it should go inside of Octus. So I'm wondering about that. So many questions. Sam has done such, Wick is so interesting. I love Wick so far. I love that he is stuck with it. Even throughout, he's still playing that kind of like, I'm, you know, this person, and I'm, you know, all this. And I don't know. I think Sam is doing a really good job of playing that character. I'm really enjoying that. Tyranny grew on me a lot in this episode as kind of being like, yeah, I'm a demon, but like, you're not like your family, I'm not like mine, and I respect you for being able to actually be moral and actually stick to your, you know, what you thought was the right thing to do. So really digging that as well. There were several really funny moments in this episode too. I think humor picked up a little bit as we've gotten a little bit further removed from the wake and the funeral. Which has also been cool to see. There were definitely some more humorous moments in this one. I still haven't necessarily loved any of the scenes with Hal, except for maybe towards the end where he got the weapon, and kind of came into it, because we've still, again, it's his brother who, you know, was executed and all that, but it's just been, the whole thing's just been somber, and I'm ready to not have that. So I'm ready for something to progress with Hal. I think Hal has now moved into my least enjoyed character so far, which is, again, it's still too early. I don't dislike. It's just if I had to put them on a chart, which I don't have to, but if I had to, he's probably right now my least enjoyed character when it comes to that. But what do we rate? If you guys have to give a 1 through 10 on episode 3, what are you rating episode 3? I'm curious. Also, I am literally out here. It's Liam. I think it'll be somber throughout. So a lot of people have said that. I'm hoping no. I think a lot of people immediately are like, oh, look, Liam's playing another sad boy character. I think we're judging a little early. I think that if his story is literally the one where, hey, your brother just got executed, he's going to be sad. Like, you can't avoid that. It's how he grows into it and how he progresses that I'm interested in. Backup character sheet. Yeah, we've also had, Brennan also revealed who is the closest to being killed, who is the closest to death in episode 3. Who do you guys think it was? And I'll tell you. If you watch the cooldown, don't give the answer. But who do you think was the closest to actually being the first death of the campaign in episode 3? Because Brendan told us in the cooldown last night. I'm curious what you guys think. Also, if you guys didn't tune in, we did a pre-show yesterday. My guess was Tayor. A lot of people thought Tayor. Murican, a lot of people thought Tayor. That's not a bad guess. 8.5, I like that. Our Cat Daddy. Okay, Baronessa, you also thought it was Tayor. Okay, which makes sense. The whole shadow thing was saying, I didn't think that's what happened. When they pulled out the shears, who else thought that they were cutting his fur off? Like they were going to turn him into, because they were at a freaking tailor. I thought they were about to cut his fur off and make clothes out of it. Like legit, I thought they were about to turn him into a rug. Like, that was it. And then it was like his shadow or whatever. I was like, oh, that's weird. It's tied so many other players. He just caught in a wet perpetual web. That's fair. So you guys thought it was Tayor. It wasn't. Brennan revealed, and a lot of people pointed to Taylor. They definitely thought that was the case. It was Murray. Murray was about to just get, boop, you're dead by Primus Draconis. Like, legit, Brennan was like, I was about to just kill you. Like, you were about to just die. Because she was being so disrespectful to him, and, like, playing into that, and, legit, he was about to just be like, you're dead. Which I think is crazy. So it wasn't actually Taylor. Brennan said that Murray was the closest to just being outright the first death of the campaign. From just the freaking dialogue. Like, not a combat, just the dialogue. Which is kind of nuts. Yeah, I agree, Paul. I'm hoping that we get a different version, a more upbeat version of Hal. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Somehow Octa's family managed to be worse than McCander's impressive. Yeah, like, so I'm very curious about that. And we learned a lot, which is going to be the hard part. So for those of you who don't know, I will be doing a recap video here on YouTube today, probably, where I'll cover all the big moments, the highlights, right? Just kind of boom, 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 boom. I already did one for episode 2 if you haven't checked it out. It's under 9 minutes because I only like boom, 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 boom. And one of the pieces of feedback that I got that I want to make sure I land is more of the lore stuff, the stuff that's not necessarily directly related to what happened and all those sorts of things, but like, oh, we learned about the war and we learned a little bit about that. There was a lot in this episode, and I'm just worried I'm going to miss some of it. So forgive me if I don't hit every single piece, but I'm taking notes the whole time that I'm watching to try to make sure I'm covering all the bases. Sorcerer got a big power boost in 2024. Seeing Sorcerer villains is going to be fun. I mean, just in general, I'm sure these guys are super powerful. I mean, he's the head of, like, a really big bad family. So curious about that. They need to start bribing Brennan with almonds to survive the sessions. I wonder how long before we get our first death. Like, legit, I wonder how long before we see our first death in the campaign. I don't think it's going to be that, like, I could see it by, like, week 10. I think somebody could be dead. I don't know. I think we may see it by week 10, legitimately. Yeah, if you guys could, anybody who's here, give this like the live. That hopefully will tell the algorithm, we'll push it out to some more people. So please, if you would, engage with the content, give it a thumbs up, all that sort of stuff. Super stoked to see, it's hard to see in the sun. Rest of the table's form, I'm surprised by the soldiers table. I agree. You think by episode 5, they're going to have somebody dead. Speaking of death, the Royces having a house halfway to fairy called the Golden Orchard, and the Draconis having a halfway to death. Yes, that was also a big lore drop. They said, like, they have, how was it described? He said, you have houses that are essentially not in this realm, which was really interesting. Considering how tense things are, I think the first death won't even be in combat, but a better result from a soldier. Again, I think that's very possible. Also, thank you for the 2 more likes on this. We're up to 6. I think it's very possible. Again, he said that Murray was about to die, and it was just for being, like, too disrespectful or not living up to what Primus feels he should be talked to like. And so they were literally just like, yeah, he was about to kill you, which is just insane. Oh, there's something else I wanted to say regarding something, and I forgot what it was. Trying to read through the comments here. Oh, the table's forming, the soldiers. Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that. I would not have picked Wakander and Tyranny to be like at the soldiers table. So very, very intrigued by that. So now, you know, you take those 5 away out of the 13, we're down to 8. So I'm guessing it's 4, 4, 5, which makes sense. I guess if you looked at it and you said, hey, there's 13 people here, I wonder how it's going to break up. Probably 4, 4, 5. Can you imagine if they were like, yeah, 8 at this table, 3 at that table, and oh, there's just 1 guy over there. But now we know the soldiers, intriguing. Marisha rolling a 1, resulting in Terry becoming a traitor. That was, oh yes, it was kind of sad, because you're like, yeah, Brendan's just like, yeah, you'd think this guy just completely, he turned on you. That's it. And it's like, oh no. In reality, he was doing this stuff to try to like let you, get out, survive, get away. But that's the way the dice fall, man. Which is interesting. One of the beauties of it. Kind of wondering if Tyranny will be a blade lock now since she's at the soldier table. Well, so I don't know if the names are so much. Like, I wonder where the names came from. Like, why he decided to be like, oh, these are the soldiers. I don't think it's because they are all, like, soldiers, right? Because we knew Cadigan, Teor, and Azune were, right? We know that, but the rest, to my knowledge, weren't, right? So they had two of the soldiers. Maybe that's why. They were just, oh, well, at least there's the majority of them are soldiers. Or it's just that, like, they're going to end in battle. So that's another thing I'm curious about. Thank you guys for the likes. We are up to 9. I appreciate you. We are currently talking about episode 3, campaign 4, but please, if you have something to talk about episode 2 or episode 1, theories, things you have, share them in the chat. If you didn't know, guys, we did a pre-show last night. So every week, which I realized I am now going to have to potentially miss a D&D game every week, because my D&D game that I run, I Dungeon Master, falls on Wednesdays or Thursdays, depending on schedules that people have. So they're either always off Wednesday or Thursday. Well, now I basically can't play my D&D game because we play from 7 to 10 p.m. and my pre-show is going to run from like 8:30 to 9:45. So I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, we do a pre-show now, so make sure to subscribe. They have the majority of the veterans of the fact. So that's what I was thinking. That's where I was going with, like, maybe because they do have Cadigan and they do have Teor, that they were like, hey, let's go ahead and do that. But nothing for sure. Retribution, motivation, spark a new rebellion. Interesting there too. I like that. Is that Hey Girl? That's, yeah. And they're kind of going to be like, and they're soldiers and they're chasing after other people who were in, like, the rebellion, right? Like, they're going after them. I think the whole turn of events where, like, Casimir is the one who did everything. I like that we got that reveal. I also like that we have finally moved past, like, the planned portion of the soldiers group. Like, a lot of the stuff that they experienced and went through in these first 3 episodes, that was structured. Like, Sam knew to a degree what was happening. He knew that his family was going to be like this thing, and that they, because he made his character, he knew that he was, the class he is, and yada yada yada. So I'm now loving that we're going to move past that. It was awesome, something they didn't see coming. Laura starting with a death saving throw. Now, the odds were in her favor, as they said in something else. So, like, yes, that was crazy. I think it was in an interview Brennan did. He's totally a Divine Soul Sorcerer. I would say that's like an 80-90%, and then maybe a 10% Celestial Warlock. But I think with all the whole, he's powered by blood, and they actually, before last night's episode, we talked about it, and we were still open to it. I think after last night, it's guaranteed. I mean, they literally told him, your power comes from your blood. It does not come. So now we know. Like, it's not. I think that knocks out Celestial Warlock now. It is Divine Soul Sorcerer after last night's episode. About 2 evil houses, both having incompetent, rebellious scions. It is 2 parallel backstories. So, Octus isn't the scion, though, no? They were propping up, the Halivars were propping up Wick, but Octus was kind of like, hey, you're out. Right? Like, they don't care about him. I don't think he's really, like, that sort of thing. So many souls being purchased, his school got me here. Yeah, that's an interesting one, too. Like, when he dropped that sort of lore bomb of just, like, yeah, all the, like, dead are just stuck because the gods are gone. There's no place for them to go. Cutting shadow should have been, like, a theme, too, aside from it. I agree. I agree. There's a lot of shadow stuff going on right now. 100%. You had that. You had the shadows following Julian. Like, yeah. Can't remember his name, but I think he was called the Prince. Yes. I have it in my notes. Karavaresh or something. Like the Prince of the. Yeah. Prince of Demons. Something of Shadow. Yep. I do think Wig is unknowingly Tyranny's patron, unless you mentioned your contract was with him. Yeah, that could be something. But that was an interesting part of that. And the relationship between them where, like, they're trading souls to the Demon Lord and some other stuff. Rip to chances. So drilling. And if you guys didn't watch the cooldown, Matt said that basically he was about to go talk to his father. He said he basically went out and he opened up, talked to Valus with the intent of, okay, if I talk to Valus, I get a better feel for this, then I'll go in and talk to my dad. He didn't get that chance. Daddy's freaking skull got ripped out of his head like that. Oh my God, what a brutal, brutal way to go. Still thinking the Veil would be easier or harder to manipulate revive. Ooh. They'd be now. Yeah, there's been a lot of mention of them, and like they're tied to like Halavar and stuff. So I'm interested about the Obra, you know, those guys. Yeah, it's Magic Classman to the T-Rich jump scare. Yeah, Shifter, what's up, man? Welcome in. The curse was, yeah, I mean, I called that. I did a whole video on it, where I was like, if you guys go look, I literally did a video on this YouTuber. I was like, that guy got cursed. Purgature of some sort. Yeah, that's what I think, is that, like, their souls, like, they're not alive. But that puts an interesting thing, because if they're all stuck and they can't be, like, taken to the afterlife and they're stuck in the middle ground, does that mean Thiazi would be easier to bring back? Is Thiazi's soul in there? And maybe they venture into the veil and they grab Thiazi and take him out. All right? We've seen that in tons of stuff where somebody, like, goes into, like, the in-between and saves somebody. Could be interesting. I'm going to once again say, guys, if you are tuning in, give this a thumbs up so it'll push it out to more people. We get some more homies in here talking about it. I might have decided with the gods got wiped. Yeah, maybe they fought for them. That's completely possible. We've gotten so much lore out of this, and there's just so much to keep up with. So many things are getting dropped on us, and little moments too. You know, we found out about, like, what the Loys are the ones who found the thing in the earth, right? Isn't that what Brennan said last night from that guy, the 85-year-old orc, that the Loys are the ones who found the material and forged the weapons that could kill the gods? Which I think we kind of sort of already knew, but like it was very clearly stated, like this is what happened here. It's death relics. Yes. Yeah. That seems to be like, wait, he was doing a lot of that. So curious about that too. We also found out straight up why he was being executed. Did you guys catch that? Before, all we knew was that he was being executed and that the House Taconis wanted him dead. But then Primus said during the whole thing, I think it was Primus, right? Where he was like, oh yeah, we're all in town because blah, 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 attacking guards in the market. Correct. Yep. Or underneath the earth, the ore that could kill the gods. Exactly. Yep. That's it. Yep. So we learned that. And then we also learned straight up why he was being executed. He attacked the guards in the market. That's what we were told. So we got a little bit of detail there as well. Anybody else live near the water? So I grew up around here, and then for the last 4 or 5 years, I lived further away. Not like super far, like 25 minutes where I'm at right now. But I recently moved to where, like, I mean, this is like a 3-minute drive. I am here all the time. All the time. I am just walking the beach, out on the dock. I love it. I love it. It's hardly a death sentence where they crowned him, to be honest. So no, I mean, I think that they wanted him dead. Or maybe that was their excuse and all that sort of stuff. Is Octus like the empty vessel of a god? Where do you get that idea? From what we know, he's the 8th son of Primus. He's the 8th son of the Taconis family. And I guess they're not, they don't really believe in him, whatever. And he went off to the school and then he took a sabbatical. Oh, okay. I see where you're going with that, because they said the line about, like, put the stone in, or open him up and put the stone in there where it belongs. I've always been super against being near the ocean. Not an aquaphobia. I just don't like the horrors of our own IRL Subnautica server. Okay. 18th son, powerless, no sorcerer's talent. Yeah, well, I mean, he's got some, clearly, from the school and whatnot, but yeah. I don't know, that would feel odd to me, if he ended up being like a god sort of thing with that, but I mean, anything's possible, right? We never really know. Valus is very interesting, and it's weird, because everybody else is kind of like, oh, I'm a soldier, or here's my story, here's my whatever. And then Brennan is treating Valus like they're an NPC. Does anybody else feel that way? We're like freaking this legendary, immortal elf, you know, like all this, like he's telling the story of Valus like it's an NPC who's like this epic being and all this sort of stuff. It's like, wait, aren't they just level 3 like everybody else? Like, why are they so epic and cool? Death in what seems like a unique way, maybe letting the death rest with the body like a gateway in the stone is key and super suggestive. Yeah, I agree. Right? I'm very intrigued as to what that means. I'm not sold on the like he's a god or something. If gods are needed to fix the afterlife, maybe we can see the ascension of some of the characters that survive. Yeah, but I mean that's got to feel like that's. I mean that's so far away. It would be a little different, right? Because in Critical Role, like they didn't necessarily like become gods or anything. They just I'll click some stuff. You know, they had their stuff with it in like campaigns 1, 2, 3 and whatnot. And this one, if they like ascended to be gods or something, that would be interesting. Epic entrance. Oh, her freaking entrance into that fight was. I in my notes I have epic. Like I have that word in there for Valus jumping in. But he very much talks her up, like she's just so much bigger and badder than everybody else, even though they're like all level 3. Like whenever Brennan talks about her, it's like this thing that like other people can't really like get or comprehend, and she's some, you know. She was there when the gods died and like all those sorts of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Lane just maybe start off because he had Sork powers. Maybe because that's another interesting thing because he's like that in between and nobody else is in terms of like, you know, he's related to like the mages and has these powers and all sort of thing, but he's in the like the guard. Wick is on the way to that ascension story, I feel like, and becomes a true god of the... That could be interesting. It was insane. Yeah, so she's a paladin. We know that much. She uses a really cool weapon, which is, I think it's like a reflavored whip in a way. It is very on brand that Ashley didn't know how Smite worked. Like... Right away, she like kills the guy. She's like, all right, as my bonus action, I'm gonna smite that guy. Just, that's no, like that's not how that can work. I don't see everyone ascending to godhood so far. I have Wakander, Octus, and Taisha, and that is if they survive, of course. Brendan is not pulling, but yeah. So I agree. If any of the 3 were going to do it, it's probably them. Represented as something that she could be. I mean, look at how he already seems to have a very powerful sword at level 3. That's true. I think it'll like level up. I think it'll like kind of be one of those. Spitazuna, maybe Cormorant. Okay. I like doing these lives where we talk about this stuff. I enjoy that quite a bit. Anybody who was at the pre-show last night, thanks for being there. We will be doing another one. So I think I'm going to start it earlier. Give it time to ramp up. So next Thursday, I might go live at like 8 Eastern. So we'll have like an hour and 45 minutes instead of just an hour. Specialized weapons to his players. Yeah, and that's no doubt what that is when it comes to that. I'm excited. I'm very excited for the parts that aren't planned. Because again, like I'm pretty sure the people knew where they were going. Like Hal being told, no, you need to stay here. The players knew that they were going to tell Hal to stay there. Same thing, I think, with Azune being like, oh, I was trying to decide, should I? That was planned. Which is fine. I'm not knocking it, but I'm excited to get to the part where like it's not the overture anymore and it's not setting the stage. Because right now we're setting the stage. This is no different than like somebody handing in a backstory. Gretchen feels so fast. It is quick, but that's because they're trying to get past it. Something else that was mentioned, that again, I'm not knocking it. I'm still thoroughly enjoying everything, is that before this episode, somebody mentioned that, you know, Marissa's telling them, hey guys, keep it tight. Not a lot of expositions. It's structured. It's a show. and like you have somebody basically telling you like, hey, make sure you move quickly, we got to get through this, we need to do that, we need to do that, because it's still very much like we have a timetable, we need to get through this stuff. And the players are being told that, so we're not getting as much as maybe we could have otherwise. Ice get turned into 2. I definitely can get behind the idea that it's like it's of the material that can kill a god. Taisha, Julian, Oxus, and Valus, yes. Okay, who does that leave then? That would leave Azune, Baylor, Murray. Who am I missing? Azune, Baylor, Murray. Who am I missing? Hal. Yeah. Maybe. I kind of like, I don't know if I want a group that has Hal and Taisha in it. So I like the idea that they'll be split. I don't know if they will be, but I like the idea that they'll be split. Yes, Soldier Seekers and Schemers. I would have thought the Seekers would be the ones that were going after Casimir. And for those of you who weren't here at the beginning, we talked about how Cadigan, his like description of the North and his whole thing about like how the danger it is up, you know, out in the wild. That was really, really well done. I think they said in the cooldown where they were like, Cadigan rarely, like he gets like one line when he's in the scene, and every line is just like a big, like really good sort of thing. I don't know. I feel like Sam don't know nothing. Isaiah Murray, Julian, and Taliesin with the Schemers, only because Luis made a tweet a couple weeks ago mentioning Marisha being the true tank. Okay. Yeah, so today I'm going to try to get out 1 to 3 videos about all this stuff. Robbie's killing it. Yes, exactly. He does little, but everything he does is impactful. I agree. His name's wrong, I know. Is the campaign 4? There was something else I wanted to bring up, and I don't remember what it was. Kind of hungry. I need to go home and make a breakfast sandwich. If anybody's tuning in who hasn't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. I guess I will also quickly plug, if you guys are enjoying Critical Role content from me and all that sort of stuff, I have a Patreon. You can go support me there. You can become a member here on YouTube. Any of those things support me and allow me to continue to just keep pumping stuff out and not go get a real job. So. There's also, like, I released a one-shot on there. There's homebrew items. There's my downtime systems are on my Patreon. There's a bunch of stuff over there. That brutal death, though, from, I mean, I can't get over that. Like, that death for Julian's dad was just insane. Absolutely insane. Birds are making all the noise. That was Mortal Kombat worthy. 100% it was. 100% it was. It's like you watch Incorporeal just pull the freaking thing. Oh, man. That was insane. Yeah, that is the Soldier's Table. Which, again, for those of you who don't know, they are not going to be there next week. The soldiers are now off of the Overture, so we're only going to have the remaining 8 players next week for the final episode of the Overture. I need to get more. I mean, I know I'm like on my phone at a beach, so this isn't like the best setup for this, but I need to get more ingrained in all of this, because I know when Todd Kenrick does his like day after sort of things, that man gets like 300, 400 people in here. But yeah, all right, we're gonna start walking to my car, so I have a couple minutes to wrap this up. And Brennan did that Mortal Kombat thing to Louise. Oh, did he really? I didn't actually watch that. Excited to see Brennan let loose like he did in Calamity. Okay, yeah. So everybody's kind of referencing that as like the here's what's going to happen thing. I mean, it seems like we're already kind of on that path. I mean, he said that he was like very close to just killing Murray. And then, of course, we saw the brutal killing of Julian's dad and stuff like that. So things are getting crazy. I wonder, because we haven't really had that much death, right, in Critical Role across the several things. I wonder what it's going to be like for people when, like, some of their characters, the people that they've been putting this time and energy into, all that effort pre, launch of the campaign, and then be like, oh crap, like that guy died and that guy died, and I'm making a new character, then I'm making another new character, Or there's a truck. Sorry if it's loud. It's now outside of my hands or something. That is ominous. Yeah, well, he had said when Wick and Tyranny showed up to save Tayor, he was basically like, now it's up to them. Like, if they mess this up, if they say the wrong thing, if they don't, like, convince these people, like, he's basically like, it's up to them now. Like, that sort of thing. That kills everyone but the soldiers table next week. Yeah. We potentially wouldn't have a resurrection side quest for this campaign. Yeah. Oh, another thing. Oh, what was it? Something else. Oh, a little twist. When he basically, like, he told Julian, oh, that place, the Taylor, is where they send people that they want to get rid of with the thing. And then Julian just said, I don't care about that person. And just kept going. Because I think he was trying to tee him up a little bit. So, like, he goes and kind of watches, and maybe that's his moment where he steps in. Or it was a way for him to, once again, really, really hone in on the fact that Julian is this guy who's just like, whatever. Like, you're not my buddy. Like, this isn't for me. If you go and you get killed, you whatever, like, oh well. Because he was literally just like, he like teed him up to be like, hey, that this lion man is going to this place where, they might off him. And Julian was like, he's just a person to me. I don't care. And he just kept walking. So that was pretty intense. Sorry, the wind is kicking right now. If you guys are getting a lot of that. Not my problem exactly. That's very much how he took that, which was interesting because I was like if, let's say, Brennan had to a degree been kind of like depending on that, and then he was just like, oh, all right, Taylor's gonna die. These guys in the bar don't want to die, and Vela said, I don't care about their lives. Yes, I put that, again, that's something that I put in my notes that was just like, they don't matter to me, where it was just like, Velas was just like, I don't care, like, they're all unarmed, and you can tell, like, they don't want this fight. He was like, so what do you do now? And she was like, I kill him. Like, Jesus. Staying combo of being pretentious and obnoxious, but also needing to apologize for existing. So let that the plans. Yeah, so I have something. What did I put in my notes? It was funny when they finally got him to a point, and then he started to say something, and then he just, like, unloaded on them. It was just like, look, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I don't know. Somebody help me. Somebody protects me. Yeah, I think that was kind of like but he's super pretentious. Again, he's trying to hold himself to this, like, I am a scion of a royal family, and I've been raised to believe that I'm of importance, and I'm spreading this word, and I'm going to become, like, the face of the family, and yada, yada, yada. And then in reality, he's been lied to the whole time. And now he's like, I don't know what to do anymore, you know? So I like Wick. I think Sam has done such a great job early on of Wick. Such a good, exactly, Shifter. I love how Sam plays with Kander so far. We'll see how he develops as he comes into more of like the acceptance of where he is now. I would say, again, we know that things are moving fast. I know they need to get somewhere, so like it's forgiving. But I do think we moved very quickly from like, oh, you got this stuff revealed to you about your family, and then that night you're literally fleeing the city, and being like, oh, my family's gonna kill me. It felt like it was a little fast and forced, but that again, honest, Sam is such a same player. Yes. Yeah, he's doing a great job at that. And in the cool Tyranny is like, I thought I was going to be the one giving Sam a hard time and making it hard for me, but it's him. Like someone who's like, welcome to playing with Sam. So that was fun. All right, it's 41 minutes of talking about it. Not bad, not bad. Part of me wants to cut this back on when I get home and continue to do it, but I need to get some videos out. We're interested in this episode. She's against her family, but also convinced she can't be saved. Things that can get her. Yes, so I think she is setting up that sort of like the person who's like, look, I'm bad. Bad is my existence. I can't be saved. And I think that she will either sacrifice herself or there will be some huge moment of redemption and showing that she can be saved. Maybe a full transformation of some kind. But I agree. Like, I'm not sold on Tyranny. So episode 1, Tyranny was probably my least enjoyed. Episode 2, I was like, okay, she grew on me a little bit. Episode 3 is where I'm like, okay, I like this version. I like this version of Tyranny. So I 100%, she grew on me. She grew on me a lot in episode 3. Tyranny definitely stocks went up. Stocks went up. So far, the only stocks that haven't really gone up for me, Hal is basically the same to me. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people mention stuff like that. Shifter. Murray. Murray has been a blast. Murray has been a blast. I kept referring to her as a hoot. She's a hoot. And I like when Marisha's like describing her like her move, like she's jostling down the street, trying to like power walk or whatever going. That, yeah, I can visualize it. That's fun. Waking Tears dynamic is so fluid, like Spectrum, like in episode 1, they were like, Brad, episode 3, it's like pattern thing going on. Yeah, I agree. I think they changed that very well. Thimble really fun. I like Thimble. Again, I need more of Thimble so far. She's been in a very intense state, which makes sense. I loved the flashback to how she was when she was happy. I like that. Where we're getting this like intensity and that whatever and the fun, but then also like we got to look at like, okay, here's what she can also be like, which she hasn't lost her best friend and that sort of thing. Murray and Cat again, yeah. That whole little scene between them was fun too. I think a lot of people are going to be interested in Cat again. Honestly, probably Tayor too. I mean, it's two large, you know, like tough, deep-voiced, accented guys. So, you know, it checks out. I don't want to end this, but I think I should. Because those group splits, putting stocks in Hal, Octaves, and Belair for episode 4. Well, yeah, because we're losing 5 of the 13 players for next week. So next week there's going to be a lot more. There's going to be a lot more of those people. So I mean, the way things were described, I don't know what has to get flipped on its head for Octus, Julian, Valus, and Taisha to make it out of this situation, right? Like, I don't know how they, like, something crazy has to happen. They have to get rescued. You have a dude who's in control of the dead. They one-shot a warrior, like, just pulled his freaking skull out of his body. They're invisible. Like, I don't know how they make it out of this. Yeah. But, guys, I'm going to end it there. Look for content today. If you haven't already joined the Discord, look in the description of the videos, this video, wherever. I have links to all my stuff. You can follow me on TikTok, subscribe on YouTube, check out my Patreon, Instagram, all that stuff. I'm going to get out of this because I need to get home and I need to make content for you guys. So expect some content out there today, some theories, some covering what happened last night, recaps, all that sort of stuff. Thank you guys for being here. Sorry for dropping you. I appreciate you. This stuff is fun. We'll be doing more lives talking about these things. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one.